G'day sci-fi lovers, welcome to more Warhammer Terrain by Knable Microworks. This week we are starting on a fairly ambitious project. We are mashing the Fallout and Warhammer 40k worlds together. If you smile at least once, drop us a like and subscribe to our channel. Long ago in the 40k timeline, a corporate entity tried to save humanity by building many massive underground shelters. This company was of course Vault Tec. We all know how that turned out. But what is not well known is what happened to many of those vaults in the time since then. Some were destroyed, some lived a useful lifetime and then were abandoned. However, some of them were never heard from after the nuclear war that Earth endured 40,000 years ago in the 40k timeline. In the 41st millennia, Terra is an almost entirely explored and exploited planet. However, there are still a few surprises in store for the Adeptus Terra. We're going to build one of those vaults that went quiet and was forgotten about for thousands upon thousands of years and has since been rediscovered in the time of 40k. Our heroes, Captain Knable and Lieutenant Melina, two honor-bound Cadian soldiers, while serving a tour of duty on Terra, were assigned to investigate a rather odd power signature that was detected after a major seismic event. Imagine their surprise when they uncover a fully rendered underground city. Join us on this journey of construction, experimentation, animation, and frustration as we build and rationalize how a Vault Tec Vault showed up on the Emperor's doorstep in the 41st millennium. Together we can figure out how this piece of terrain can be used in Kill Team, Necromunda, or Narrative 40k campaigns. While not everyone may enjoy the lore mashup, suspend disbelief for a while and have some fun figuring out how these two great franchises can coexist in our current 21st century. I've played a lot of Fallout Shelter, the cartoony version of the Fallout franchise. Given that, the vision that developed in my mind was how to build a Vault Tec Vault that actually looked like those of the Fallout Shelter game. It starts with a blank piece of MDF, upon which we measure out and draw how the vault will take shape. Vaults are underground, so I landed on an idea of a slice of earth lifted out of the surrounding area so we can see above and below ground. Once the rough outline of the mountain slice was idealized in Sharpie, I drew out the width of each room, the elevator, and left enough foam on the outside to ensure I can carve some interesting underground vignettes later on. With that done, I cut a wooden frame of 1" by 3" planks and mounted them onto the base. Then I cut some XPS foam 2 inches thick, and those became my piece walls. I needed a way of building a drawer structure. Ironically, I had to Google how to build drawers. Once I realized I was building a dresser, it was easy to find drawer sliders and plans on doing just that. That involved some conventional carpentry while making sure my drawer fronts were open to see like the Fallout Shelter game. With the design solidified, I started to build the actual drawers. They had to be high enough to support 40k figures, and they had to be able to be pulled out so you can play in the drawers themselves. This took a bit to measure and fiddle with, but in the end we have 8 rooms that can be pulled out to move your gang around. Using cardboard to build the rooms allowed me to make precise cuts without having to have a full-fledged wood shop. After the drawer shape was built, I lined all the edges with a wee bit of card, knowing that I could cover the edges in low viscosity superglue and then sand them so the action on the drawers was nice and smooth. In some of these pics, you will see a small sheet of foam core being used to ensure the drawers were the same distance apart and they would not bind on each other when the rooms were pulled out. To provide additional support on the drawer sliders, I lined the interior top perimeter of each drawer with popsicle sticks. This allowed me to use screws to connect the drawers to their sliders in a much more durable fashion. Whenever I build, I constantly remind myself that these things are meant to be played with and need to stand up to that. At this stage, the screws are too long and will be cut down later on in the construction phase. To match the image of the Fallout Shelter game, the elevator is directly between each side of the drawers. At the bottom, I will build an infinity mirror that makes it appear that the elevator shaft continues further down into the mountain. Above that section will be the elevator car itself and will be animated so that it is always moving up or down. As you can see in the early pics of the elevator shaft, there are 2 vertical channels cut through the shaft. This will be how the car is lifted and lowered. By extending some card through the channels will allow me to mount a cable system to the elevator. The very top of the elevator shaft will be where the motor and any other electric devices will sit. I haven't decided yet if this will be hidden or not. The last thing I want to point out in this first video is where all the electronics will go. The backplate of XPS foam on the mountain is removable and will give me access to all the electronics that this piece will require. The cavity between the rooms will be used for most of the electronic installations. I built a vertical slider that can be pulled out for access. This MDF plate will be where the Arduino gets mounted along with the rest of the circuitry. Add to that, there's about 15 centimeters behind each drawer that can be used for wiring and any other engineering work that needs to be hidden. The very iconic vault door will be on top of the slice of earth. It will be modeled in such a fashion that it looks like a recent earthquake has uncovered this long-lost relic. The top of the slice of earth will also include some 40K elements that will allow us to bridge the two franchises together. We hope you stick with us for this journey, and we look forward to your comments and suggestions.
The Emperor wishes you a lovely day.